So I'm here with Mr. Bill Anderson.
I feel famous. I'm on a camera.
Podcaster, previously Malfa podcast, now
And
doing
this is, now doing Wild West Exodus.
Wild West Exodus.
Game development.
Yep, game development.
Still talking about pretty much everything I play.
Yes.
And this is proof I have a body and a face for radio.
If you close your eyes and just listen to his voice, it's gonna sound pretty much him. Yes. We actually met up randomly at the Wrath of the Kings intro tournament right here. But he has some exciting new stuff coming out, especially from his Developers Corners.
So I got two things coming up. So the Developers Corner that I have out now, what the whole brainchild was, as I departed from working with Weird as a henchman and got involved through a lot of my playtesting actually with Weird, got involved with a lot of other game developers from different systems, I started to realize a couple of things. One, almost every gamer I meet thinks they know how to design games better than the game developers that actually design our games we play. Right? Everybody has some sort of critique.
Yeah.
Two, there's a lot of basic questions. And I really mean basic questions that people don't ask and don't consider and think about. So when we think about, a lot of people will complain, the GW players, right? Oh man, I left GW because it's so expensive, and more importantly, I don't want to play on a 6x4 board with giant models anymore. Well, why did they design it for a 6x4 board? So like, I wrote up a series of questions, and I reached out as a skirmish miniature gamer to a couple of game developers. Toby from GCT Studios, Bushido.
Yep.
Romeo from Wild West Exodus. And Dave Bowen, Nerd Elemental, who is ex-Weird, who has his own game development company now. I said, hey, would you guys be willing to come on the podcast? You're not going to talk to each other, but you're all going to talk to me and answer the same set of questions about game development. And then I'm going to string them together and sort of release that out there. And what I wanted was, Bowen is sort of the freshman developer. He doesn't have a real game out there.
Yeah.
Romeo is sort of the sophomore developer, right? He's got a game, it just launched, he's done this stuff. And then you got GCT, who has a solid game that's still a newer game, but he's definitely the, let's call him the junior, high school junior.
Yeah.
And gives you really that perspective across. It went fantastic. First, I gotta say thank you to those three guys. They were amazing, and giving access to those of us who podcast and broadcast has been, that's the best part about doing this, right? I asked 8 questions. Split those 8 questions up into 8 segments, and they've been releasing. In fact, this week we just released question 6. They release as part of a podcast, and then a week later they release as a standalone.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to go back and dig through the podcast, you can listen to just the segment. It comes out to about a half an hour to 45 minutes a question, and the questions are things like, how did you decide on the size of the board you're going to use for your game? What's more important, fluff or rules? How do you go through marketing, and how does marketing affect? So it's all those kind of questions that kind of make all of us step back and go, as gamers, we're the ones that complain about this stuff.
Yeah.
We don't think the developers are really thinking about it, and the developers are all going, oh man, this is critical to what we built.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool. So I've already been asked where are the next 2. Thank God 1 or 2 people still listen to the Gamers Lounge, and I've been asked about what I'm doing next. Board games is going to be my next one.
Okay.
It's really about lining up a couple of board game developers, and I have a couple of people in mind already. I already started to reach out and develop those questions. Kickstarter is the other one. And I haven't figured out yet what slant to take on the Kickstarter side of the Developers Corner, because Kickstarter is so polarizing around miniature games right now, and around gaming in general. And it's weird, because in miniature games, it's polarizing to the negative, more to the negative side, but board gaming, and I don't know how many people out there that are listen to watch the WGC know this, the $2 billion mark that Kickstarter just reached 2 weeks ago from today, from Adepticon, is primarily made up of the board game industry.
Nice.
So role-playing games, launched board games, dice games, those type of things.
Yeah.
That means that you have all these developers out there who are loving and embracing Kickstarter, and then you have what we play, miniatures, who are poo-pooing Kickstarter and saying it ruins the market. So I got to figure out the right slant to kind of go in the middle of that, because I think there's a lot of ground to cover to really get the information out and open the eyes for what people are saying. So
Do you have a name on those two yet, or you can't release it yet?
I can't tell you. So I've already lined up one of the developers for the board game. I'm looking for the next two. I have in mind who, but I don't want to talk about who they are yet.
Yeah.
The Kickstarters, like I said, the only thing that may push the Kickstarter forward is if I have trouble lining up a board game, a third board game developer.
Yeah.
The Kickstarter is probably going to be the third one. The good thing is, for anybody who's interested in what I've done with the Developers Corner already, I got two more coming, and it's just a matter of coming up with new ideas and where they go next. So I don't want to give them out because I don't want to pin anybody down for...
But I guess when it comes out, then I can always update. I can update the description below with the links. But if you want to look for Bill and his podcast, Gamers Lounge, and all the developers corners, I'm gonna have the link down below. It's called Gamers Lounge, and look forward for those.
Now, wait a minute. So I can do this in video, right? So it's down.
Yes.
There.
Yes, down somewhere.
Not up here.
No.
Not over here.
It used to be over there, and then now it got moved down here.
Okay, so that's just kind of cool. I'm looking forward to watching this because I look as much of an idiot here as I sound when I record normally.
Well, thank you, Bill, for your time, and we look forward for the Wrath of the Kings tournament.
Thanks much. I'm looking forward to it.